What's going on, everyone? Scott here. Welcome back to the channel. Here to talk about episode 1 of Survivor. Season 46 kicked off last night, and an amazing episode to kick off a new season of Survivor on the beaches of Fiji. Let's hop right in. First off, we had the voiceover by Tevin to kick off the season. The editing has always been incredible, but really this new era from 41 on, kind of a different style of editing that we've seen, and it always is very intriguing, kind of like a little slow-mo, and get you some more, maybe behind the scenes or behind the camera looks that, we didn't see in seasons past, and, it's always very interesting to see. Charlie, I already like coming in with the T-Swift love, and then on the boat ride over, kind of bad weather for the marooning. I guess Ben puked on the boat ride in because of such rough waters. So we get Jeff going through his normal monologue, introducing the season, talking to a few of the players, but then we get into the first marooning challenge. The first team to win gets flint and camp supplies. Second gets the choice to do either sweat or savvy, and then the third obviously gets whatever remaining of sweat or savvy. Hunter immediately kills it in the challenge, taking one piece all the way back himself and even circling back to help Venus carry hers back, and they almost lap everyone. I believe it was Tiffany as well on Yanu was a beast, carrying one over her shoulder herself. A lot of people were just rolling it, but she just threw that piece over her shoulder and kept it moving. Nami, the Orange Tribe, won, so they got the tribe supplies and the flint to start the season here. Siga, the Green Tribe, got second place, and they get to choose between sweat or savvy. They do take savvy with the idea of trying to tire the other tribe out. So now the Purple Tribe, Yanu, has to do the sweat challenge, and it is Q and Zelensky doing the sweat challenge, and it's basically getting buckets of water from the ocean and trying to transport it over into urns. The trick is there's holes in the bucket, so you kind of got to move quick, but obviously these are huge urns, so it's going to take quite a while to do this. While they're doing that, the rest of the tribe kind of cleans off in the ocean. We get a few little scenes of them getting to know each other, and I really think Batu is a really interesting story, and excited to see how he does this season. I did pick him in my preseason video as someone who I think, if he gets in the right alliance, can go pretty far. But he says how he grew up in India. He grew up in a mud hut for 18 years, I believe it was, he said. And he could be an asset in this part of the game in terms of, getting the culture of the tribe and, kind of getting the shelter and things that they may need to be successful throughout the game, getting that set up in this part of the game. So I look for him to be a big player early on in this game, especially. He has a lot of energy too. He's a real joy to see on the screen, and excited to see what he can do this season. The Green Tribe, Siga. Charlie and Ben are doing the Savvy Challenge to solve a crossword puzzle, basically, to unlock a box that will reward them with their supplies and their flint. Meanwhile, while all that's going on, some of the tribe dynamics starting to form. Maria and Tim briefly bond over being parents, so we can put a little pin in that for later. Back to the Savvy Challenge. Basically, in the crossword, there was a bunch of numbers that they found, but the remaining words in the crossword gave another clue that was going to help them for what letters to put in the puzzle to turn it, to open it, and it was to dig under the lock that's hidden under the crossword, and they don't get it in time, they don't figure it out, so they don't get the supplies or the flint to start the season. Now jumping over to the Yellow Tribe, Nami, which is the tribe that obviously won the Marooning Challenge. We get a little scene in the water here, and kind of surprised that Liz talking about all of these businesses that she owns, and she sold 2, and Tevin even kind of says in the little confessional, like, whoa, she's out here talking about all these businesses and stuff like that, and he's like, I'm out here for money, and you're out here kind of like flaunting your dollar bills about all these companies that you have. It was kind of an interesting strategy there. See if she can maybe recover from that a little bit. They start building their camp. Soda gets the fire going. Now back on the sweat challenge for Yanu. Jelinski does the office look at the camera while taking a breather from the sweat challenge. And then essentially they go through a couple hours, it seems like, of the challenge, and Jelinski is like, I think we just need to call it quits. Like, we're not getting this. Hugh's trying to convince him, like, hey, we can keep fighting. We can do this. And he has a line that kind of comes back up later too. He's Jelinski, that is, and says we have several hours where we only have 4, and he thinks that several means 7 hours. I've never heard that before, but essentially we end with Jelinski quitting for the tribe so they don't get their supplies, and then he tosses the hourglass. So there's that. Jump over to Sega. They said it was okay that they weren't able to complete the Savvy Challenge, but applauded them for stepping up, which you like to see. You never obviously beginning part of the game, you want to be someone who kind of steps up for your tribe, and you hate if you don't get it. You kind of get put behind the 8 ball there, but glad to see. And it seemed like they were real in that, and not just saying it to kind of butter them up. Everyone seems to like Ben and his vibe and their hashtag Survibing. I thought that was kind of funny. Mariah says how she's struggled to make connections or friends and wants to prove that she's not a loner. Jem, I feel, is doing a good job at connecting with most people. It seems like she's in a lot of these conversations and, forming some good connections early on in this game, which that's what this really, first handful of episodes, handful of days on the island is about. The Purple Tribe, Yanu, Jelinski, and Kenzie want to work together, and then it's like, oh, wait, well, okay, everyone wants to work with Kenzie. It seems like she's a really likable person, someone that a lot of people can talk to and want to, work with in the game. No one can get a read on Jen. She's not really talking strategy. Seems like she's kind of a little standoffish, not really involved in any of the major conversations. Then we get a scene of Kenzie, Q, Jelinski, and Tiffany locking in kind of a 4. Jumping back over to Nami, Hunter says how he doesn't really fit in because everyone's so outgoing and he's, kind of introverted. I believe he said he's lived in the same city or same area of Mississippi his whole life. Was kind of born there, grew up there, and now he works there and teaches there. So, he hasn't been all these places like a lot of other people in the game have been. He wants to try to make an alliance with Tevin, and they kind of have a connection over liking the Andy Griffith show, so they dub it the Andy Griffith Alliance, and once again, applaud the editing. They, kind of zoom in with the old school TV and make it, black and white screen, and it seems like they might have a genuine connection there. Over to Sega and the Green Tribe. The girls want to pull in Charlie to break the 3-3 boy-girl tie to try to make an all-girls alliance and shift the tides there, and they nickname it Charlie's Angels. That was pretty funny. Charlie says he's down. Tim is a little suspect of an all-women alliance. Obviously, rightfully so, which from the conversations we just recently saw. I worry that Tim may focus a little too much on this, though, especially in these beginning parts of the game. They haven't even lost a challenge yet. Back over on Nami Beach, Venus is upset because Tevin kind of called her a princess, and she said she's not a princess, she's more than that, and wants to prove that. So she said forget it, and started to go look for an idol. Maybe not the, I would say, best move if you get caught, which she kind of does. As we have Randon kind of sees her, kind of poking around, looking around. She says something to him about, possibly looking for an idol, and says that he should too. He turns around and tells Soda to look out for Venus because he knows a Parvati type player when he sees one, but Soda turns around and tells Venus. So didn't work out for Randon there. Now I do feel bad for Liz. She's allergic to basically everything. Can't really eat any of this stuff. The coconuts, I believe they're cooking up there to eat. And then simultaneously all the boats show up at camps. Time for, it looks like, a little journey. One person gets on the boat to return later this afternoon. Jelinski, before they even open the card, is like, if it's a journey, I want to go. Immediately volunteering. So Jelinski, Maria, and Tevin go. So kind of a little different game this year on the journey. We don't know if this is going to be the same one for the whole season, but at least this episode, it's trying to test the ability to read each other, whether someone's lying or not. Whoever has the torch card has to read to see which one's lying. Whoever has the vote card, that person, and then the other person, who I believe has the skull card, has to convince the person with the torch card that they have the vote card, and if they're right, then they get an extra vote. So Tevin gets the vote card, Jelinski gets the skull card, and Maria gets the torch. Jelinski does not do a good job of kind of, lying, just seems kind of basic, and Tevin's is honestly kind of a little basic too, just like basically just saying, hey, I have the card, believe me. Then Maria did a great job and killed it at making Jelinski say that he has the skull card, saying if you're lying and I lose my vote and go back, I'm telling everyone that, hey, I lost my vote because this person's a liar, yada yada. So Jelinski ends up saying, I'm not going to lie, I have the skull card. he has the vote, and they kind of like shake on it, and it's like, dude, you just gave up your vote that easily. And then to make matters even worse, Zelensky goes back to camp and literally told everyone the whole truth. Like, what are you doing, man? This is Survivor 101. You have to, it's okay, it's the name of the game, to lie, cheat, steal. And these are literally strangers that you met, 2 days ago? And even the people that you were playing the game with, you haven't even, like, personally met. Like, you saw them probably, pre-show, and then you saw them at the marooning, but you don't know these people. Just lie. Do your best to lie. Maybe you're not the greatest at lying, but you got to come up with something and at least fight a little bit, which maybe we didn't see the whole situation unfold, but got to put up a little bit more fight than that, in my opinion. Maria goes back and tells the tribe basically what happened, that she was able to suss it out, and lets them know that she's got the extra vote. Tim is still set on wanting to get a lady out. The shelter, I guess, literally collapsed on the Yanu tribe last night, and Jess is really struggling with her ADHD. She's losing stuff. I believe she lost her water bottle, something else. She's not getting really any sleep. Then during the day of camp, Tiffany finds the Beware advantage while everyone's kind of looking around. She runs away with, I believe, Kenzie, opens it up, and it basically says to dig below where you found it. Found it to find the next part of the clue. And then it's basically a future situation where you have to come back after you lose a challenge to look for a key to open the box, I believe, to get the, immunity idol. She does open up too, as I said, I believe she was with Kenzie, and she tells Q's about it too, because obviously since she doesn't have a vote, when or if they do go to tribal council, she'll obviously need some help to, get through and help control the vote. And especially since Zelensky doesn't have a vote either, then it's even only 4 people going to be having a vote. So want to make it all unified and help her as best as possible until she's able to, get her vote back. Immunity challenge time, you basically have to drag a gigantic gecko through an obstacle course, up, over, through. Yellow tribe, Nami, is again blowing the other tribes out of the water, as they did in the marooning challenge. Nami gets the first immunity win of the season. Zelensky was really struggling. Just kind of another pin in there note on the struggle first episode for Zelensky. I really do feel bad for the guy. And purple, the Yanu tribe, does end up coming in last and goes to tribal council. So going into this tribal council, Tiffany and Zelensky do not have a vote, and Zelensky does end up going home. And I gotta say, I do feel bad for Zelensky. I feel like I did even see some stuff on Twitter with Mike Bloom, shout out to him. But when he was on the island, there was even some stuff that wasn't in the episode, that stuff kept kind of going wrong for Zelensky, one in the, the sweat savvy, the sweat challenge, in that, and some other things. And I think he was in tribal council that he said, like nothing is going right for Zelensky here. And it seemed kind of like that, pretty much the whole episode, that it was trending that way. He kind of kept, kind of Kevin from The Office spilling the chili the whole time. So I do feel bad for him. He does seem like a really good guy, but unfortunately, that's just how Survivor is. Survivor can be unrelenting sometimes, and that's unfortunately how it went for Zelensky tonight. But anyway, that'll do it for episode 1 of season 46 of Survivor. Really excited about this season and can't wait to talk about it all season long right here with all of you. So thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.